Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on my video. This is Rocky here with my top moments from the season 1 finale of Constantine. It was a really great season and great episodes, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. My number 5 top moment of the episode was basically the overall theme of the episode itself was a pretty good adaptation of the man storyline from the comic, though I was honestly disappointed that they did not include John's niece at all. For those that have not read the comics, John's niece Gemma was basically the center point of the man storyline, as she was coerced in the comics by 3 girl spirits to basically become a bride for the man, and he planned on basically ritually strangling her to bind her spirit to him. So very similar to how things were portrayed in this episode, but again, it wasn't John's niece. In the comics, John and Zed were actually able to stop the man, though his house ended up getting basically burned down by the Ressurection Crusade, as he himself was part of Nergal's Damnation Army. So it heavily involved those two basically more or less cults from the comics, so we didn't see any references to them in here, so that was a little bit sad as well. I thought the 3 wives were portrayed pretty well within the episode. The actresses did a great job, I thought. Though I think they went a tad overboard with the man himself in regards to, Southern stereotypes. Alright, so my number 4 top moment of the episode. It was great to at least hear from Gary Lester in the form of a possessed corpse. This affirms that Gary still cares about John, and that is highly rare for Constantine, basically, especially since Newcastle and everything like that. He keeps his friends away, his friends stay away. This also creates some tension between John and Zed, as it seems to her that John doesn't really care about Gary's warning about the bounty placed on him. So she's thinking, he basically wants to die, is kind of the impression she's getting from him. The number 3 top moment of the episode, we get to see Jim Corrigan again, and he seems to have adjusted pretty well to the whole demons on Earth thing he learned when we last saw him. John gives him a nice little push to becoming the Spectre, or at least a step towards taking vengeance with his own hand. Zed finally reveals to Jim that she has these visions of him dying, and apparently this kind of ignites some passion between the two as he kisses Zed while John actually ends up watching this from a distance. I just hope, let's just not get quite to the CW level of angst in this series, please, guys. Alright, my number 2 top moment of the episode had to be Papa Midnight. He's back and he's after John. The Breweria have set a bounty on Constantine's head, and for Midnight the payoff would be his sister's soul free from hell. So we see some of his voodoo magic at work, as well as the Ace of Winchester again. Through these scenes, we get some nice back and forth between he and John. We get a little bit more glimpse in the basically head and mentality of Midnight. He doesn't necessarily hate John, but this John is basically means to an end to save his sister's soul, as he himself is basically the one that kind of damned her to hell with his actions and everything like that. At least in the comics, we haven't had the full story explained within this series yet, as well as we see how good John can be when he has time to plan, as he overtakes Midnight with the use of some raising of the dead spells himself, as well as a glamour spell. Also on the upside, John ends up with the Winchester. Alright, the number 1 top moment of the episode for me had to be the reveal that the Brujeria work for Manny, if that was really Manny. So this was a huge thing, as it aligned with Midnight's earlier warnings about John being betrayed. Now, according to some of the cast and crew members, Manny is basically supposed to be a completely new character separate from the comics. So he's not meant to be the first of the Fallen or Nergal at all. So we have to wonder, what is Manny's goal? And who is he really working for? Is all of this meant to push John into becoming a hero? To have John assist in the creation of the Spectre? Or is Manny simply being a dick? There's so many ways we could go with this, and we just don't get a lot of that revealed information. I mean, he's not necessarily a fallen angel, because his wings aren't black, right? Remember that happened to Imogen when she basically fell. But again, if we go off wing color, he's not exactly, a high and mighty perfect angel, because his wings aren't exactly crisp white, like Imogen's were as well. His wings are kind of a gray color, so are we supposed to interpret that as him basically being a more or less neutral line kind of angel? Or, we don't get a lot of that background information yet, but we do know that he's claiming the Brujeria work for him, and, he cancels basically the contract they had with Midnight. Alright, so my final thoughts for the episode. It was a strong one to end the season on. especially with that cliffhanger at the end. Honestly, I would have preferred them to have focused more on either the Brujeria or the Ressurection Crusade, or possibly both, as those were two story points that I wanted to see some type of finality on or a bit more information on. We just didn't get that. I can understand, as again, they were limited to only 13 episodes this season, so there's only so much story they can fit in that small amount of time. I'm fully expecting to see season 2, and I'm thinking it is going to end up being on the Sci-Fi Channel in the form of Hellblazer. The show definitely improved greatly from its episode 8 break, so for the premiere season of Constantine, I give them an A-. It looks like the soonest we may hear anything on season 2 is probably going to be May, but it could very well be June or July before we hear anything else. I know I have my fingers crossed. I hope you guys do as well. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite part of the episode was and how you feel about season 1 of Constantine in general. If you have any questions on any of the characters or anything brought up in the episode, go and put those down in the comments below as well. I'll be more than happy to go over that information with you. And if you've enjoyed the video, I'd ask you to go ahead and give me a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That way you can receive alerts when I post my next Constantine video or Hellblazer video or any of the other Marvel or DC videos I'm doing at this time. And if you have gone ahead and subscribed already, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on board, and I hope you're enjoying the videos. Alright guys, all that being said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day now. Bye!